Well, gross, Thomas. Thank God that's in the trash. That needs to fill out. So you say the Cajun food looks like dog food, huh? I really would love for you to tell that to a Cajun down in Louisiana near the bayous and see what happens. I need to pick up some Worcestershire sauce, so I'm going to have to make this quick. Like them? I love these things. I got quite a few pairs, but I went over there and I bought another pair. Now, I want to show you this, Thomas. You see that? Isn't that wonderful? Mediums, which fit me perfectly. Now, if you notice, women's clothes, their pants, which are designed to fit women's legs, comes all the way down to my ankles, which is what they're supposed to be because these are, the tallest and the full length. You have said many times that you don't wear women's pants and jeans because they don't fit. They're always too short. See, women have a shorter leg length mostly than men. That's why whenever Mom would insist on going to the men's section, she always had to alter all the clothes, and there was no way that she could actually get them to do otherwise. I'm going to get this off of here. And we'll start this back up. Now, I have the meats. They're ready. They will be added in a minute once I go to the store and get the other thing that I need. But like I said, Thomas, you're a disgusting, filthy hobo. I mean, it literally looks like someone went into your kitchen and took a crap right on your countertop. And it's stained. There's brown, nasty, gooky stains all over the place, and there's bugs running everywhere. Look at this, Thomas. This is the way an actual kitchen should... Oh, I need to cut up some garlic. Should look. Look at that. Do you see any of this, Thomas? No. I mean, everywhere you look, there's cleanliness. Why? That's simple, Thomas, because I'm a woman. And the actual thought of cooking in the kitchen that looked like someone took a massive, huge, bowel movement right up on the countertops is actually kind of disgusting, which I wouldn't want to do. So, yeah, you don't lose your wiggle, Thomas. You cannot train yourself to walk like a man and then not be able to just revert right back. It's about the shapes of your hips, and that's why I have this cute little wiggle when I walk in. You walk like a man. It's just the way it is, Thomas. Things don't work out for us all the time. Clean. Why is my house so spotlessly clean, Thomas? Do you have a clue about that? And why I end up like that? Oh, look at this. There's no such thing as God, Thomas. There's no space lizards that will come back there. No God is going to fix you in the end. Just hope you know that. And this is how stupid and primitive your retarded race was, which really isn't a race, it's more of a group. But the Jews were dumb, and they made up a very stupid idea. And, it spread throughout Europe when they were stupid. We're no longer stupid. And you say that you're a biologist, a life scientist, which is absolutely laughable when you have no clue on how things really work. And you're supposed to be a biologist, but yet you don't understand how to read a medical study. Not that any of you do, and most of you don't. That's why you have these idiots running around believing that a she-male is actually a transsexual female when he is going to keep his wee-wee and run around talking about it's not necessary. No, it's not necessary for Blair White to have an operation because he's not a female. But it is for Jazz Jennings and the likes of me and Corey Mason and the girls that knew from 3 to 7 years of age. And then you go around talking about a flat earth with a dome on it. Well, tell me how this came in here. You know what's special about this? This is more valuable than gold, platinum, or anything. And it weighs a lot more. And you can see the crystalline form and the melting and the bubbling that it went through and the eventual explosion. Do you know what it says? This is a meteorite. This is a piece of rock that fell out of space, exploded probably in midair before it hit the ground, and this is a little piece of it that's mine. You sit there and you try to say that you're more of a scientist than I am, and that you comprehend science is better than I do. But yet you can't even figure out anything, Thomas. Why do I have a microscope? Do you have a microscope? I have a microscope. Do you have a telescope? I have a telescope. But you don't. Why is that, Thomas? Why is it that you don't have any of the apparatus that a scientist would have around the house? Because, oh wait, you don't know anything about science. You are clueless. That's why you think I gotta vacuum this floor. Ooh. There's a lot of track up coming in. You seem to think that the sciences were made for you and that outdated scientific opinion. Let's talk about outdated scientific opinion. Thomas, let's really do this, because I want to explain to everyone. There's no such thing as outdated scientific opinion. You see, first of all, there is no allowance for scientific opinion. You better be correct. If you're not, especially in medicine, you're going to lose your credibility. And if you do that, you're going to lose your money source. You're going to lose everything that you worked for the last 15, 20 years. Do you understand that, Thomas? The man that you're saying has an outdated medical opinion has 2 medical degrees. Did you know that? Did you know that he's been working on neuroanatomy and neuroscience since the late 60s? Bet you didn't. He has a list of studies and abstract reports that have come out since 1969 and have not stopped, not even to today. Every year, he puts out several papers, or at least one. So, this year he'll put out another one. There's been a remarkable amount of them on transsexualism, and when you read it, it says transsexual, male to females, have female neurons in the limbic system. It says transsexuals, not GNCs. Transsexuals, Blair. Do you get that? It was not meant for Blair White. They were excluded. It was not meant for the Justin Dennises. They were excluded. Blair White's group got excluded the previous study because they had male BSTCs. They had a male brain. With some of the clusters a little more off on the female side than most of the macho gay men, but their brains were not female. So Blair White is not a real trans female. She doesn't have a female brain. She has a male brain with a few more of the clusters in the feminine side than the gay males have. But the main gender identity cluster, the BSTC, in Blair White is male. You also smoke dick weed, Thomas. You see, there's a difference between class and poor-ass trash. You're poor-ass trash. This is what class uses. This is Golden Goat Live Butter, and the other one was Shoreline Ultra Refined Sugar Wax. So while you're over there hooking down on a Mexican dirt weed, I'm smoking the finest pressed live butter ever. So what do you think, Thomas? Mediums. Mediums. Yeah. What size are you in? A 4X? 5X? I don't wear dresses. Well, you sure were wearing a muumuu. We saw that. Thank you, Doug. That was awesome. Oh, I love Doug's work. Doug does such a great job, and then you went over there and went to SoundCloud and messed up Tommy when Tommy's sax is 10 times better than yours. You realize that. You were framing on a piano and sounding like a 2-year-old. You have no talent, Thomas. You're not a female, Thomas. You don't look like a female, you don't walk like a female, and the one thing that most of you won't be able to do is have a conversation with females. Real, actual born females. Because eventually, little Mr. Man's going to climb out and get all upset about the girl talk. I've watched it happen so many times. Or when John, who was sitting there, oh, Why did you just let us change your name? I gotta be post-op John. Oh, you guys can't have your name changed? No, I gotta be post-op John. Oh, you're just hard to work with. No, John, my fucking state won't let me change anything until I'm post-op John. But of course, being a queer-ass homo, kind of like Blair White, they didn't comprehend that. They don't comprehend what transsexuals go through. That's why homo Blair White had no clue that there are 3-year-olds that know. I was one of them. That's why I told the homo, you're not trans. You don't understand this. Shut up, back off. You don't get the idea of what we go through. There's 3 separate groups. I'm in one group with Jazz Jennings. He's in the other group with the rest of the she-males like Diamond D, who's now over there with Walt Tyers screaming that having the surgery was the worst thing he could do. He found out after all he was just a gay man. Same thing with Blair. And a lot of them. But for Jazz and I and our little sisters, it's mandatory. It's not some optional thing, and who cares? We care. That's where our gender dysphoria starts, is having to look down at that thing every fucking day as a child. And it gets worse as you grow. But you didn't know that. Because you like going to the gay clubs as a little boy and sucking off a few men. Didn't you, Blair? You saw the little transvestites and she-males up there dancing around doing female impersonation. Thought, oh, that's cool, that's me. And then you said, I'm a trans female, when the transgender shit came up, which is why it's got to go away. So that goes back to the Aerosmith ways of dude looks like a lady. Because that's what you are, dude. A dude. That's why you don't understand why transsexuals know at 3 years old. And most of us don't live Jazz Jennings' life. We live my life, which was a nightmare of horrible abuse from my parents from the age 3 up. And then when I turned 21 and was able to go get hormones, they ran off my doctors and told me that they would make sure that I died in the wrong body. And I became nasty about it. And I told them that one day I would make it. And so I have. And you just didn't understand that. So you come into my page and you start attacking me like I'm some kind of too old to transition. Well, let me tell you something, you scummy fucking bitch. I outshined you then. I showed you I outshined you when I was 30-something years old. And I still outshine you, bitch. Because why? There's one thing that you will never be able to do, and that's communicate with real girls. As a girl. But I can. So, even though my throat got cut, which has fucked up my high-pitched voice that I used to have. In fact, I used to get laughed at by the person when they would hear me when I wasn't quite transitioned, because they said I sounded like a girl. But you didn't know that. So you brought your homo ass into my page and started fucking with me. And you got your ass told off. That's the way life is. You run around talking the wrong shit to the wrong person, you may get your shit sitting right back to you. And I don't give up. And I don't get upset like that. And I won't go running off and go, oh, I'm so depressed, I'm going to kill myself. Over some idiot that doesn't really know the truth. There you go, Thomas, Blair, and the rest of you idiots that think religion is over science. You cannot deny science. You cannot go against it. Blair, you may look like a female, but you're not. Me, I may look like an old woman, but I am an old woman. So there you go. And oh, by the way, what do you think you would have looked like if you had to have all that time off of hormones until you were 51 and then finally got to go back on them? I'm sure you'd be bald-headed as shit and have fur crawling up your back. And seeing as you got dark hair, it'd be dark, furry ass all over the place. I'm sure you'd have enjoyed that.